2026 is already shaping up to be one of the most stacked years in streaming history. Final seasons of shows that defined a generation, brand new anthologies from the studios behind your all-time favorites, long-awaited revivals, and epic conclusions that took years to arrive. Every single title on this list is already available or dropping right now, so if you are looking for your next obsession, you came to the right place. Today, we are counting down 12 of the best new series of 2026, in order from 12 to 1. But before we begin, it would mean a lot if you took a second to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is what keeps this going. Thank you. 12. Margot's Got Money Troubles. What would you do if your life fell apart overnight? No money, no plan, and a baby on the way. She is 20 years old, a college dropout, the daughter of a former Hooters waitress and a washed-up professional wrestler, and suddenly facing motherhood completely alone after a brief affair with her English professor ends in the most unexpected way possible. With bills piling up and no safety net in sight, she makes a decision that is equal parts desperate and audacious. She opens an OnlyFans account. But what starts as a way to survive quickly becomes something far more complicated, especially when her eccentric, larger-than-life father steps in and decides to help her build a public persona using everything he learned from decades inside the wrestling ring. What follows is a story that is messy, uncomfortable, and surprisingly tender. Produced by A24 and written by the Emmy-winning mind behind Big Little Lies, this 8-episode series is already streaming on Apple TV with a cast that is nothing short of extraordinary. Elle Fanning, Michelle Pfeiffer, Nicole Kidman, and Nick Offerman. 4 names. One very wild ride. The question is, how far are you willing to go when survival is on the line? 11. Malcolm in the Middle. Life's still unfair. 20 years. That is how long it has been since we last stepped inside that chaotic, impossibly loud, wonderfully dysfunctional household. And if you thought 2 decades would have settled things down, you thought wrong. Bryan Cranston, Jane Kaczmarek, and Frankie Muniz are back in a 4-episode limited revival that picks up with Malcolm as a single father who has spent the better part of a decade successfully avoiding his family. That streak ends when Hal and Lois demand his presence for their 40th wedding anniversary. Reese is still figuring out life at an agonizingly slow pace. Francis has somehow found peace in the suburbs. Dewey is now a concert pianist touring Europe. And Malcolm, for all his genius, still cannot seem to get out of his own way. All 4 episodes are already on Hulu and Disney+, which means you can watch the entire thing tonight. This is not a reboot, it is a reunion. The same world, the same people, just a little older and arguably no wiser. Sometimes the shows that shaped us deserve one last curtain call. 10. Man on Fire. He was trained for war. He is being destroyed by peace. John Creasy was once one of the most effective operatives in the field, a special forces mercenary who moved through danger the way most people move through their morning routine. But that version of him is gone. What remains is a man hollowed out by PTSD, running from his own memories in a warehouse job, barely sleeping, barely functioning. Then violence finds him again, and this time, it is not a mission. It is personal. Across 7 episodes, Netflix reimagines A.J. Quinnell's celebrated novel not as a slick action spectacle, but as something raw and more psychologically demanding. Forget the 2004 film. This is a different kind of story, set in the brutal streets of Rio de Janeiro and built around a man who has no business being anybody's savior, least of all his own. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II takes on the role with a kind of broken intensity that makes every confrontation feel real and every quiet moment feel even heavier. The question is not whether Creasy can survive. It is whether there is anything left worth saving. 9. The Testaments. 15 years have passed since the events that shook Gilead to its core. The Red Cloaks are still out there. The rules are still brutal. But something has shifted, and the cracks are beginning to show. This is not the story of the handmaids. This is the story of the daughters. 2 young women, raised inside the regime, begin to see the world they have always accepted for what it truly is. Agnes has always been dutiful, pious, a model citizen of the most privileged class in Gilead. Daisy has arrived from the outside, and with her comes a dangerous kind of clarity. Together they navigate the gilded halls of Aunt Lydia's elite preparatory school for future wives, a place where obedience is trained like a muscle and punishment is always justified with scripture. Anne Dowd returns in a role that now carries far more complexity than any antagonist deserves, because this time, Lydia has her own agenda, already streaming on Hulu. You do not need to have seen the original to follow this story, but if you have, nothing will feel the same. 8. From Season 4. The town does not let you leave. You already know that. What you do not know, what nobody knows, is why. Season 4 of this cult phenomenon picks up exactly where the chaos ended, with the residents of the most terrifying town on television pushing deeper into the mystery of the man in yellow while their world grows darker by the episode. Harold Perrineau is back as Boyd, a man carrying more weight than one person should ever have to bear, holding together a community that is slowly coming undone. This is a show with a 96% score on Rotten Tomatoes that only gets more dangerous the closer it gets to answers. Knowledge has a cost here. It always has. If you have not watched this series yet, understand that it is one of the most consistent and genuinely unsettling shows available right now. And for those who have been waiting, the search for a way out just got a lot more complicated. 7. Stranger Things. Tales from 85. The Upside Down is quiet. The kids are back in school, back to their D&D campaigns, back to living the kind of winter in Hawkins that feels almost ordinary. Almost. It is 1985. The snow is falling, and something has survived under the ice. Netflix takes the beloved universe in a completely new direction with this animated series. Set between the second and third seasons of the main show, a gap in the timeline that has always been full of unanswered questions. 11, Mike, Will, Dustin, Lucas, and Max are all here, with new voices, new faces, and a new threat already seeping up through the frozen ground. Created by Eric Robles and executive produced by the Duffer Brothers alongside Sean Levy, this series goes back to what made Hawkins magical in the first place. Kids facing something enormous with nothing but each other and flashlights. All 10 episodes are already on Netflix. It is nostalgia with teeth. 6. Your Friends and Neighbors. Season 2. He got away with it, and that made everything worse. Andrew Cooper, hedge fund manager, recent divorcee, unlikely thief, has found a strange kind of peace in robbing his obscenely wealthy neighbors. The money is good, the risk is thrilling, and for the first time in a long time, he feels in control. Then a new neighbor arrives. A billionaire named Owen Ash who throws parties that would make Jay Gatsby uncomfortable, who has more money than anyone in Westmont Village has ever seen, and who carries with him an energy that is equal parts magnetic and deeply unsettling. Jon Hamm returns in what might be his best television work in years, and James Marsden joins him as the kind of chaos agent who does not need to threaten anyone. His mere presence is enough. Season 2 is already streaming on Apple TV, going deeper and darker than the first run, while somehow also finding room for genuine emotion. This is what happens when a man who has nothing to lose starts running out of places to hide. 5. Beef Season 2. They saw something they were not supposed to see. A heated argument between their boss and his wife, the kind of explosive, ugly moment that people in that world pay enormous amounts of money to keep private. And now Ashley and Austin, two young, low-level employees at an elite country club, have leverage they never asked for. What follows is a generational showdown. Gen Z versus millennial, working class versus old money, vulnerability versus control. Oscar Isaac plays the general manager whose marriage is unraveling in real time. Carey Mulligan plays his wife, a woman whose composed exterior is cracking faster than she can patch it. And presiding over everything is the billionaire owner of the club, played by two of the most decorated actors in world cinema, Yoon Yoo-jung and Song Kang-ho. The Emmy-winning anthology from creator Lee Sung-jin and A24 is already on Netflix with all 8 episodes. You are going to finish it in one sitting, and then you are going to want to talk about it with someone. 4. Criminal Record, Season 2. A young man is stabbed to death at a political rally. That is where it begins, but that is nowhere near where it ends. Two detectives, one a seasoned veteran with a complicated past, the other ambitious and still learning how far the system bends before it breaks, are pulled into an uneasy alliance that neither of them wanted. What starts as a homicide investigation accelerates into something far more dangerous, an undercover operation against a far-right bomb plot in the heart of London. Peter Capaldi and Cush Jumbo return in a second season that has already earned a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes, a rare achievement for any series, let alone a British crime thriller on a streaming platform. Creator Paul Ruttman has expanded the canvas dramatically this time around, blurring the line between doing the right thing and doing what is necessary until that line is barely visible. Already streaming on Apple TV, Weekly, one of the most underrated shows available right now. 3. Hacks Season 5. She was not supposed to die. The reports were false. The story spread faster than anyone could contain it, and by the time the truth caught up, Deborah Vance had already read her own obituary. Now she and Ava are back in Las Vegas, more determined than ever to prove that the rumors were greatly exaggerated and to secure a legacy that no one can take from them. This is the final 10-episode season of one of the sharpest comedies television has produced in this decade. A show that holds a 99% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes across all 4 of its previous seasons. Jean Smart has won 4 consecutive Emmy Awards for this role. The writer's room mapped out this ending from the very first pitch meeting. This is what a show leaving on its own terms looks like. No decline, no overstay, just a perfect last set already airing on Max. If you have not started this series yet, now is the time. Do not let it end without you. 2. Euphoria Season 3. 5 years have passed. The halls of East Highland are behind them now, and adulthood has arrived in all its brutal, disorienting reality. Rue is in Mexico, still in debt to a cartel, still running from herself. Jules is at art school, anxious and searching. Cassie and Nate are engaged, playing at a version of stability that neither of them fully believes in. Maddie is in Hollywood, grinding through side hustles at a talent agency. They are all trying to be adults. They are all failing in different ways. Shot on both 35mm and 65mm, film a visual choice that gives the show a cinematic weight, unlike anything else on television. This 8-episode season also carries a particular emotional gravity. It includes some of the final performances from Eric Dane, who passed away earlier this year. Zendaya has said she believes this will be the last chapter. Already airing on Max, it is unmissable. It is devastating. It is everything this series has always been, just older and somehow more honest about the cost of everything. 1. The Boys Season 5. Homelander 1. That is the starting point. Not a cliffhanger, a fact. The most powerful and unstable superhero in the world now has absolute authority over the United States, with dissidents disappearing into so-called freedom camps, and the last real resistance scattered, drained, and desperate. Billy Butcher's team is broken. The odds are impossible. And the only plan left on the table is one that would eliminate every superpowered person on the face of the earth, including allies. This is how it ends. The 5th and final season of what might be the boldest, most politically charged, and most uncompromising superhero story ever made is already on Prime Video, with new episodes dropping weekly toward a finale on May 20. Creator Eric Kripke has said this was always a 5-season story that he has been building toward this conclusion since the beginning. Every season led here. The apocalypse, the reckoning. Karl Urban is back. Anthony Starr is terrifying. And it is all happening right now. Do not look away. And that is our countdown. 12 of the best new series 2026 has to offer. And the good news is that most of them are already available for you to watch right now. No waiting, no guessing, just pick one and press play. If you enjoyed this video, do us a favor and leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you never miss a new upload. Drop a comment below and tell us which one you are watching first, or which show you think deserved the #1 spot. We read every single one. See you in the next video.